The day I turned 48, my reflection in the bathroom mirror started counting. Not aloud. I could see her lips moving. 1, 2, 3. Her eyes were fixed on something behind me, something I couldn't see. I turned around. Nothing there. When I looked back, she was gone. Just my own face, pale and tired, with no memory of what had just happened. I should have stopped looking in mirrors that day. I should have covered every reflective surface in my house and never looked back. But I'm a scientist. I don't believe in omens. I believe in data, in evidence, in things that can be measured and explained. I spent 48 years building a life on that belief. And now I'm hiding in a motel room with all the lights on, writing this on a napkin, because my phone won't stop buzzing with a number I didn't dial. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Priya. I'm a neuroscientist. I study memory, how the brain encodes it, stores it, loses it. I've published papers on Alzheimer's, on PTSD, on the way a single smell can unlock a door you thought was closed forever. I thought I understood the architecture of the mind. I didn't understand that some doors open both ways. 3 weeks before my 48th birthday, I was cleaning out my mother's house. She had died 6 months earlier, and I'd been putting off the inevitable. The house was a time capsule from my childhood. The same floral wallpaper, the same creaky stairs, the same mirror in the hallway where I used to practice my height. I was in the basement, sorting through boxes of old photographs, when I found a diary. It wasn't my mother's. It was my grandmother's. I recognized her handwriting from the letters she used to send me. The diary was small, leather-bound, with a brass lock that had rusted open. I opened it to the first page. The date was November 14, 1948, my grandmother's 48th birthday. The entry was short. I saw her today, in the mirror, a little girl in a white dress. She was counting. I couldn't hear her, but I could see her lips moving. She looked at me like she knew me, like she'd been waiting for me to turn 48. I turned the page. The next entry was dated 3 days later. She comes every night now. She stands at the foot of my bed. She doesn't speak. She just counts. I've started counting with her. 1, 2, 3, up to 48. And then she smiles and disappears. I don't know what she wants. The entries continued for months. My grandmother wrote about the little girl appearing in mirrors, in windows, in the dark surface of her coffee. She wrote about counting in her sleep, waking up with the number 48 on her lips. She wrote about her husband, my grandfather, thinking she was losing her mind. And then, on the last page, a single sentence. She told me that 48 is the number of years between doorways, that I have to find the door before she finishes counting, that if I don't, she'll take me with her. The diary ended there. No mention of what happened next. My grandmother lived to be 92. She never spoke of a little girl or a door or a number, but she also never looked in mirrors. I remember that now. The hallway mirror in her house was always covered with a cloth. She said it was to keep the sun from fading the wood. I believed her. I put the diary in my bag and finished cleaning the basement. That night, I went home and read the diary again, cover to cover. I told myself it was the rambling of a woman who was probably suffering from early dementia. But my grandmother had been sharp as a tack until her late 80s, and the handwriting was steady, clear, the hand of someone who knew exactly what she was writing. I didn't sleep well. I dreamed of a staircase, narrow, steep, descending into darkness. At the bottom, a door, white with a brass knob. The door was open, but I couldn't see what was inside. I could only hear counting, a child's voice, soft and patient. 1, 2, 3. I woke up at 4:48 a.m. The next day, I started seeing her, the little girl, not in mirrors. In the corner of my eye, a flash of white dress, gone when I turned. A shadow behind a door, vanished when I opened it. A whisper in the next room, silent when I entered. I told myself it was stress, grief, my mother's death, my grandmother's diary, the pressure of my research. I increased my anxiety medication. It didn't help. On my 48th birthday, I woke up to find a drawing taped to my refrigerator. A child's drawing, done in crayon, a stick figure. Me, I assumed, standing in front of a mirror. In the mirror, a little girl in a white dress, her hand reaching out. Above the mirror, the number 48. and underneath, in shaky block letters, "Find the door." I hadn't bought crayons. I lived alone. The doors were locked. I threw the drawing away and went to work. But the drawing was back on my refrigerator when I came home. I threw it away again. The next morning, it was taped to my bathroom mirror. I threw it away. The next morning, it was on my pillow. I stopped throwing it away. I started looking for the door. I didn't know where to look. My grandmother's diary mentioned a door, but not where it was. I searched my house. Basement, attic, closets. Every door was accounted for. None of them led anywhere but to rooms I already knew. I searched my mother's house. Same thing. I searched my grandmother's house. It had been sold years ago, but the new owners let me in. They had renovated. The old doors were gone. The little girl started appearing more often, not just in the corner of my eye, in front of me. I'd be sitting at my desk, and she'd be standing in the doorway of my office, her white dress glowing faintly, her lips moving, counting. I'd blink, and she'd be gone. I'd be driving, and she'd be in the back seat, reflected in the rearview mirror. I'd look, and the back seat would be empty, but the counting would continue. In my head, I started counting too. I couldn't help it. The numbers would rise in my throat like a cough. 1, 2, 3. I'd be in a meeting, and I'd realize I'd been mouthing the numbers under my breath. I'd be in line at the grocery store, and my fingers would tap out the rhythm on the cart handle. 48. The number was everywhere. The sum of my total at the store, the number of emails in my inbox, the age I had become. I went back to my grandmother's diary. I read it again, more carefully this time. There was a passage I'd missed. She told me that the door is not in the house. The door is in the memory. The door is the first time you saw her. The door is the moment you started counting. I didn't know what that meant. I closed the diary and went to look in the mirror. I hadn't looked in a mirror since the day my reflection blinked. But I needed to see her. I needed to ask her where the door was. The bathroom mirror was dark. The lights were on, but the reflection was dim, like looking through smoked glass. My face was there, but it was wrong. Older, thinner, the eyes were hollow, and behind me, standing in the bathroom doorway, was the little girl. She wasn't a reflection, she was real. I could see her in the mirror and over my shoulder at the same time. Her white dress was bright, almost blinding. Her hair was brown, tangled, falling past her shoulders. Her face was the face of a 6-year-old, but her eyes were ancient. She was counting. I could see her lips moving. 43, 44, 45. I turned around. She was there, 3 feet away, her bare feet on the tile floor. She stopped counting. "You're 48 now," she said. Her voice was exactly as I'd imagined it. Soft, high, but not childlike. There was something else underneath. A weight, a weariness. "I'm Priya," I said. "My grandmother wrote about you." "Oh, I know. I visited her too. She was supposed to come with me, but she was afraid. She covered the mirrors. She stopped looking. She forgot me, eventually. The counting stopped. I had to find someone else. Find them for what?" She tilted her head. "For the door. The door only opens for someone who is 48. Someone who is the same age as the number of steps. Someone who remembers." "Remembers what?" She stepped closer. The air grew cold. I could smell crayons and rain. "The first time you saw me, you were 6 years old. You were at your grandmother's house. You looked in the hallway mirror, and I was there, standing behind you, counting. You didn't tell anyone. You thought you imagined it. But you didn't, you remembered. You just buried the memory so deep you forgot you had it." I closed my eyes, and I saw it. A flash, a mirror, a little girl in a white dress, a 6-year-old too scared to scream. I had forgotten. I had buried it so completely that I'd spent 42 years believing I'd never seen anything strange in my life. "Open your eyes," she said. "Look in the mirror." I turned back to the bathroom mirror. The little girl was standing behind me, just as she had when I was 6. But now I was the adult. Now I could see her clearly. Her dress wasn't white. It was the color of old bones. Her hair wasn't brown. It was the color of dried blood. And her eyes weren't ancient. They were empty tools in the universe, looking out. "The door is in the mirror," she said. "It's always been in the mirror, but you can only see it when you're 48. The same age, as the number of years I've been waiting. The same age as the number of steps from my grave to the house where I died. Where did you die? She pointed at the mirror. In there. I fell through when I was 6. I was counting the steps from my bedroom to the kitchen. 48 steps. I got to 47, and I tripped. I fell into the mirror, and I've been on the other side ever since. She reached out and touched the glass. Her hand passed through it. The surface rippled like water. Behind the ripples, I could see a staircase. Narrow, steep, descending into darkness. At the bottom, a door, white with a brass knob. The same door from my dreams. Come with me, she said. Just for a minute. Just to see. You don't have to stay. But if you don't come, I'll never find my way out. I'll keep counting forever. And so will you. I looked at the mirror, at the staircase, at the door. I thought about my grandmother, covering her mirrors, forgetting, living a long life in quiet fear. I thought about myself, 6 years old, seeing a ghost and pretending I hadn't. I thought about the number 48 and what it meant. I stepped forward. I reached out my hand. The glass was cold. It gave way under my fingers, like pushing through gelatin. And then I was through. The staircase was real. The steps were stone, worn smooth, cold under my bare feet. I hadn't taken off my shoes, but somehow I was barefoot. The little girl was beside me, holding my hand. Her fingers were warm, the only warmth in the entire place. 1, she said. We took the first step together. 2, the walls were close, covered in drawings, stick figures, mirrors, doors, the number 48 over and over in every language, every color, every stage of fading. 3, I could hear whispers, not from the walls, from the darkness below. Voices I almost recognized. My grandmother, my mother, people I'd never met but somehow knew. We counted together. 4, 5, 6. The staircase went down farther than I could measure. The air grew thick, heavy, tasting of dust and old flowers. 7, 8, 9. The steps began to narrow. The walls began to press inward. 10, 11, 12. At 23, I saw faces in the stone, not carved, trapped. People who had tried to follow, who had gotten lost, who had become part of the staircase. Their eyes were closed, their mouths were moving, counting 24, 25, 26. The little girl's hand tightened around mine. Don't look at them, look at the door. 27, 28, 29. I could see it now, the white door glowing faintly at the bottom of the stair. The brass knob was shaped like a number 48, 30, 31, 32. The whispers grew louder, not words, numbers. Thousands of voices counting in unison, a choir of the lost. 33, 34, 35. The girl began to run. She pulled me down the stairs, faster and faster. 36, 37, 38. The door was close. I could see the grain of the wood, the gleam of the brass. 39, 40, 41. The girl let go of my hand. She ran ahead. She reached the door and pressed her palm against it. It swung open. Beyond the door was a room. A small room, no bigger than a closet. The walls were mirrors, floor, ceiling, every surface. And in the center of the room, a girl. The same girl. The one who had pulled me down the stairs. But this girl was lying on the floor,